Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Well, hello there. Long time no speak.
Well, long time no see.
I know.
Actually, no, it hasn't been a long time.
I
Opposite
know.
of that. Opposite of that. So you're back home and I'm
Back
here.
home. Yes, I got back yesterday, as you know, but it was such a lovely week seeing your face in person. And I have to say, I'm still kicking myself because you totally won Christmas with my Port Charles Update mug, which I've been drinking from my tea, my coffee, everything I
Good.
drink out of it. I've been drinking from it. So I'm very excited about that mug. You win.
Good. Glad you enjoyed. Yes, I finally won Christmas. You're way better at buying gifts than I am. So you're still off from work?
Yes, I only go back on the 2nd, so I'm going to try my best to relax and enjoy the time I have left at home before the madness of the new year starts.
Yeah, that's nice. Sounds good. Oh my gosh, I could not be happier right now to be in the car. Uh, I swear, like Jackson just woke up from his nap, and then you go and get him, and he's just screaming no. And I'm just like, I don't have time for this crap. Like, I'm going to record a podcast. Like, bye bye. Good luck, Johnny. But it's just like, I'm just saying, could you imagine if, as an adult, you're just like, I don't really want to do my day to day, but the first thing you do when you wake up out of your sleep is scream no hysterically. Could you imagine that? Like, you're like, no, no, I don't want to be awake. It's like, what's your problem? Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so I'm excited to be in here and excited to talk about other things. Ryan strikes again.
Oh my God, he's so creepy. I saw that guy turn around his chair, I'm like, your number's up, my friend. Where are you going to appear?
Well, I just have to say this. You know, if you suspect that Ryan is still alive and that he could be anybody, he even gave examples.
I
He
know.
also could look just like himself and he could be ready to murder you. I mean, look, you've done documentaries, but don't you think it's a bit weird that the guy's twin is sort of not really saying much that's negative about his brother that's murdered a bunch of people?
Like, no red flags at all. Like, I don't understand any of these people. And like, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but nowhere in the city are there cameras. How the heck did the body get to where the body got?
Right. The ending of today's episode. That was just insane. Insane. It doesn't even make any sense
I know.
because I mean, like, it's a soap opera. I get it. But now all I kept thinking was this is so inconvenient for the police because Willow's date got cut short because Chase had to
Yeah.
go and find, go where the murder scene was. And now they all got to come right back to the
I love
Metro
something.
Court. I
Okay,
really
so
wonder, you know, we talked about Port Charles's crime rate, and I'm wondering if at their hotels they have special like rating systems, like bodies for like how many dead bodies found at this hotel, so you can choose like the safest one. I don't know. I'm trying to think about how many dead bodies have been at the Metro Court so far. So
no, it's so funny. All I can picture is like a version of an Expedia page, but instead of stars, it's like slumped over dead bodies
yeah,
as
yeah.
the star rating system.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are a little bit jumping ahead of ourselves. You know, Ryan was starting the week off slow. It was a short week this week, but did I hear this right? Okay, so he goes to see Kevin. I've never heard this expression. So did I hear this right when he says that Laura was a little stay in for my taste?
Oh, I didn't catch that. Okay, when Ryan went to go and visit Kevin, you mean, and they're at Ferncliff.
Yeah, and
Um,
he's all like, oh, I'm pulling this off. And Kevin's all drugged up and he's asking about Laura. And then he's like, oh, I've been a gentleman so far. Like basically saying I haven't had to really like kill her or do anything to her. She's fine. And then he tells him, he breaks the news that he's getting a divorce from Laura. But then he like talks about Laura and calls her a little stay-in for his taste. And I've really never heard that expression.
no, me neither. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. That's kind of funny because I think I'm a kind of stay in. Like, I'm just
Before you call yourself that, maybe we should Google it first.
oh, maybe we should. Oh crap, yeah.
But anyways, so
I just
out
meant
of
like I like to stay inside.
that's exactly like a homebody, but I don't know if he meant that if it was referring to anything else, but I thought that was pretty funny. I had to rewind it a few times. So okay, so he goes to visit Kevin, but now finally people are starting to say out loud Not, hey, Kevin's been acting kind of weird divorcing me and sleeping with Ava, but they're actually putting forth some plausible theories that would make sense of his behavior. So finally, Laura is thinking he's had a psychotic break.
Yes, which is what you have said weeks ago because you are like an encyclopedia of the history of the show, which is fantastic for me in this situation. So I really love, and I also love, like, just on another side of things, I really love seeing Laura and Carly scenes.
I do. I love them too. And Carly did butt in when Lulu and Laura were talking. So you have Laura's theory, but then Carly comes around and sort of gives her thoughts on what the murders can be and why she thinks that they could also be the same person.
Yes.
We have Lulu who like snuck that information, and so now she's telling people that she thinks it's one murderer, even though nobody has really confirmed this. I mean, we know it's true, but technically nobody at the police station has been able to confirm. They're just sort of investigating a theory. And so
True.
Carly says, okay, so like Lulu's kind of pointing out all the similarities, body found at a public event. But then Carly points out something, but I'm just like, I thought she would go a little further with this. So she points out that another commonality is that the killer always frames the most likely suspect. So she refers to herself, okay, fine, with Mary Pat. But to know that Carly was the most likely suspect, you would have to know Carly's situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that was strange because with the whole Griffin thing, fine, they always suspect the boyfriend, but it's not just that. Like he went out of his way to find out who that was. So this is not like a random person. This is a person who's informed about the person that he's killing and who's in their lives and who he could frame.
Oh yeah, like it's intense. Like yeah, they stopped it short, but so did the psychotic break. I mean, it took to this point for them to kind of piece things together and say, "Hey, this is kind of weird."
Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy that they're finally thinking that something could be very, very wrong in this situation. But what did you think about Lulu deciding to publish an article about a suspected theory? Suspected theory.
Well, I thought it was really interesting because now she's floating between, she's all, oh, I want to speak the truth. But right now, you're doing like gossipy stuff
Yep.
that started that newspaper when he's trying to legitimize, or you were supposed to be on the side of legitimizing the paper. So I thought that was really interesting for her to be dancing around that side of the new quote unquote news.
Which is why I totally loved it when Ned just called her irresponsible, because you are, because in all of her other stories she's trying to fact check and get quotes, and in this it's just like, can I quote you on that we're investigating but we're not sure, so you're putting an article saying we think this but we don't know, could be wrong, here you go. And I love that, like, because that's the thing, Olivia, she's special, but I mean she'll cut to the chase, and I like that she kind of grabbed Lulu. And Lulu was like shocked at the things she was saying, but I was just so happy Olivia kind of put her in her place. Like, if you want to speak the truth, this is not the only thing going on in the city. And I worked really hard on that tourism video, and you are not going to take it down.
I absolutely love that scene, and I like that Ned wants to revoke Lulu's privileges from going to the police station, which I think is totally valid. She's a
I
reporter.
I totally love that. I mean, yes, it was one thing when she was just somebody's wife. So technically any drop-bys she had would have been to socialize, but now she has an agenda. And I mean, I like the fact that Ned was understanding, because he can't exactly reprimand Jordan when he himself is related to her. She's not related to her, but there is sort of a personal tie. So
Right.
at least he acknowledged that. So I like that they actually acknowledge the little details. So yeah, I could not have found that funnier when he was just like, we gotta revoke her privileges. And I look forward to that conversation that Jordan will be having with Lulu, because that was really irresponsible. And what does she think, that, they might have never solved the case, but they can put two and two together. You were in the squad room and then you wrote the article.
Exactly.
Oh
Oh,
my God, that one's special. She's special, but her dress was so beautiful. Lulu's dress for New Year's.
hey. Everybody looks so nice and sparkly. Like I loved all the different styles, willows, like all of them just look so gorgeous.
They did. Oh, and I had one more thing to say about Kevin. Okay, so Carly typically has good instincts, and she noticed that, hey, my therapist has been mean to me and doesn't want to book an appointment. Whatever, red flag. But not only that, everybody knows there's such a thing as like privileged information, and he's repeated this to you a million times, which is why you shouldn't tell him what you're investigating. Just do it on your own if you want to. But out of nowhere, she doesn't think it's weird that he came up to her and was like, okay, so here's like the full info on this guy you were looking for.
No, but my favorite
That's
part
not
was here's
weird.
the full info. Are you good now? Are we done with this? Are you good? He must have said it like twice. Are you good with this?
I know. It's
Or do
just
I have to
so,
get murdery?
it's, it's hard to get murdery. Oh my gosh, that was just so ridiculous. I'm just like, come on, man. You know. Okay, I have a funny so somebody had an opinion on all of this on the Ryan Kevin thing. And I mean they said a lot and it was just sort of interesting. So they said, I kind of hope Ryan sticks around. I do. He's really creepy, but it also is interesting. I love his dynamic with Ava. I used to, now it's just creepy. That's my opinion. And look forward to her turning the tables on him soon. Kevin can cool his heels for a bit longer. That's funny. So if Ava somehow teams up with Obrecht, they could do some real psychological damage to that man. We have options.
Ooh, I like the way that person thinks.
I'd like that. So at the Pretty Pixie on Twitter, I really loved all the options she was throwing out there, and I think it's really interesting because we love the idea of the cast mingling. And honestly, Ava and Obrecht together, I don't know what that kind of insanity would look like.
Ooh, it would be extremely entertaining.
It would be so entertaining. But yeah, it's just it's really weird because of course I want Kevin to be out and you kind of want Ryan to stop murdering people, but it is kind of fun. So I don't know, it sucks because it's like, it's obviously going to come to a close at some point.
Exactly. Okay, before we leave the whole Ryan Kevin situation, when he was in the room and they were having that conversation, just kind of sitting down, casually having this conversation with Kevin, I like that he said it's really easy to be a therapist because everybody thought that. And I was like, you're funny.
But that's the thing, Ryan is he's pretty funny, he's pretty charming. He's pretty
And then
good.
okay, so there's that whole scene, so I'm giggling. And then all I keep thinking is Ryan, like sorry, Kevin is like just this like weak, like, oh, I'm all drugged, I can't do anything. But the guy is like literally telling you he's keeping you alive so that he can pump you for information. Before the end of that episode, I'm like, dude, just like make up a code that only Laura or somebody's close to you that would understand, and then maybe, just maybe they can help figure things out. And then like at the end of the whole episode, he's like, wait a second, I think I have a way.
I know. I mean, he's on a lot of drugs, but you gotta hope that that's the window. Like it's obvious. Like he's saying, "Feed me stuff." There's gaps in my memory. At the same time, too, Laura's got to be smart about this. She can't keep pointing out every peculiar behavior straight to
I know.
Kevin's face because if he thinks that Kevin screwed him, he's gonna kill Laura. So it's a really fine line he has to play. And people just need to stop handing him over so much damn information
Oh, I
when
know.
he's showing that he's like being mean about it too. It's like Carly keeps going up to him. That patient, he's been so mean about it. She just won't stop going up to him.
Okay, so if we're talking about crazy, and I'm totally jumping, it's when Griffin goes to his office. So Griffin is in front of Kevin Ryan's office. Why? Why? Is there no other therapist in the entire hospital that you feel comfortable speaking with that you need to go to him, Ava's boyfriend?
Oh, that's true because he insulted him earlier this week too. That is weird because that didn't even cross my mind. I'm like, no, there's really just one therapist. There's him and Dr. Maddox, but then he went and got all criminally. So then that kind of took him out of the picture. But yeah, no, that is really weird. Like this guy doesn't like you. He's completely siding with Ava, and you did go and see him. That was really weird. But I have to say, I'm buying Griffin's grief now.
Oh, me too. So sad, and like the scruff, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hug you,
He's
make you.
so he's so good at growing facial hair.
It gives a whole new dimension to his puppy eyes.
He- he's I find like he's doing really good with the mopey thing, and I'm sad. Like I think it's really working.
It is. It's working for him. It's working for
Yeah,
me.
because his initial reaction, we were kind of like, oh, well, I mean, I guess when your girlfriend dies and they suspect you of murder, it doesn't give you much room to feel sad. But I'm happy to see him sad, and I'm happy to see, someone aside from Ava that's actually remembering that Kiki died.
I like that you said you're happy to see him sad. I just thought that was kind of funny. It made me giggle. But I agree with this the sentiment in that statement.
Yeah. Key, like, I like this. So not only is he sad, which I'm enjoying, But we're seeing him cross over to the dark side a little bit. When he was telling Laura a life for a life, I was like, ooh, Griffin, I've never found you more attractive.
Me too. I know it's weird and messed up, but I was like, damn, boy, I like
Well,
this side of you.
because I was wondering what would happen, like especially with someone like Griffin, like how would this change him? Because even before Kiki died, we had Peter offer him that job to like on the
Right.
newspaper. So I mean, they were kind of showing like glimpses. Could Griffin just kind of be somebody else, or just sort of stray a little bit and try out different paths? So I don't know. I don't know what Kiki's murder will lead him toward.
That's a good point. It was sad though seeing the apartment being packed up. I don't feel that we have like felt that kind of closure in other situations where people have died. It's just like they die and people mourn, but to
Yeah.
see like place actually being packed up, that was a little
It was really sad. I'm not really sure why Griffin had showed up with Anna in that moment, but Anna did a really good, like, Anna was really sympathetic toward Ava.
yes.
But okay, so how come all of Kiki's like memorabilia and all this like stuff from her childhood, it's like on brand new paper?
But
All of it. Like her her everything is just brand new paper. And so aside from that, I have to admit, what Ava was saying, I just loved how she put it. I loved all of the Kikis, all
I
of the different little girls that I got to know, and I was like, oh wow, like that's like maybe the one time you really see her as a mom.
yes, absolutely. Because I was like, wow, you get it now. Like this is the only time that I see that you actually understand what having a kid is like.
Yes, and you're right. They do come in glimpses, and they're not. She's not always on it, because even when she yells at Griffin at one point in time during the time when they're at the apartment, and she goes into that whole thing, you stole my daughter from me, and it's like nobody stole your daughter. And honestly, are we gonna sit here and pretend that you're mad that Griffin stole your daughter, or that he left you for her? Like we all know what she's really mad about, and she can't deny that she's always had this underlying competition with Kiki. So it's just so interesting about her character that you can feel for her one minute and then the next be totally, no, I don't agree with you at all.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's what we say that's interesting about her character. It's this like it's all the emotion and the journey that she takes you through.
She knows how to turn it on, and oh gosh, to add to the creep factor. Well, I mean, not to her really, but just Ryan walking in. Like
Oh,
I saw Anna, like you see
yeah.
Anna stare at him, and you're like, is any of your like spy brain nothing flickering? Okay, I was
I know,
hoping.
no like goosebumps, no hair standing up on your arms, no like this guy gives me a weird vibe.
No, he feels familiar. I'm assuming she was around when he was murdering people the first time.
That's what I'm thinking too.
So, yeah, so I was just a bit disappointed that Anna didn't really pick up on that.
Me too. Like the whole scene is weird. Like just seeing him in that apartment one was weird because of what he did. And then again,
Yeah.
like we keep saying that like control and secluding her. Not that Ava has a whole lot of people around her to begin
No,
with.
but he
Like,
is. He is. He
mhm.
totally is, because today I really got that vibe, especially after Scott's comment to Laura when he goes, I really don't like Kevin with Ava. And then they go to like Ava and Kevin together and Ryan. And honestly, it was literally in today's episode when I saw them together that it really struck me. And I was saying it in my mind that like he's completely isolating her. And like you said, it's not that there's many people, but he's still doing it.
Yes, and the way he lifts her up and says everything she wants to hear, looks at her in a way that she doesn't really, the way she can't look at herself. But what I thought was kind of interesting was, wait, she said something along the lines of like, oh, when she was talking about her resolutions, she was talking about how she's not going to live up to anybody's standards. And I was like, whose standards are you living up to? Like, I don't think she's a great person or anything. So like, what like thing in her head is saying that she's trying to be perfect for the world? Because I don't see it.
She's probably still dwelling on her trying to be a good person for Griffin.
Yeah,
But I
that's the
don't
only two
know.
I could think of, but I'm like, really? That
It's
short, like, bit in your life?
I think it's more that she doesn't like people thinking bad of her, because she's one of
Which
those
is
characters like many others in the city that have done horrible things, but they've been redeemable. And so it's kind of like the thing that she suffers from, like Valentine. They've done horrible things, but why can't I be like redeemable, like in everyone's eyes?
right, good point. And we have kind of talked about this before that she, keeps going to the Metro Court and seeing her frenemy Carly. So yeah, it makes sense.
Oh my gosh. So Emma. So we were talking about Anna, and so then Anna's spending her New Year's this year with Finn, and Emma shows up with her hilarious gift.
Oh my God, I
What
love
was
seeing
that?
her. It was so cute. She's gotten so big. She's adorable.
Yeah, she did.
So tall. And then I guess well, because I don't know prior, like Anna and Finn's relationship, because she was saying that he lived with her and then he moved out. So, like, that part I didn't know.
Yeah, they were pretending to be together. They were pretending to be a couple a while back for a case.
Okay, so she's like, oh, I like, she obviously likes Finn, or Emma likes Finn and wants to see them together. And I just thought that was really cute. And that whole scene, it's always like the light thing, when he runs out and he comes back with all of his bags. But I honestly thought he was going to propose, though, at some
Me
point.
too. I thought he was going to propose to her. Okay, but I'm just like, did you find that Emma's gesture of meddling to that extent a little Robin?
Right. Yeah, totally. Not now that you point that out to me.
Speaking of meddling, oh my gosh,
Good
what
segue.
what is wrong with these people? Like, does no one learns from anything? It's like, I hate the way you treat me. I'm gonna do it to the next person, and it's just so like, so this all sort of starts with Kim. Kim makes a huge decision from Oscar and lies to him. Then Oscar's like, I hate that you did this to me, but I'm gonna do it to Jocelyn, and I'm gonna decide for her what's gonna happen in our relationship. And then Joss is like, I hated that Oscar lied to me and he's sick and I can't be mad at him. So I'm going to run and tell Julian what he should do with his love life. What?
It's like a broken telephone type situation.
Oh my gosh, I really didn't understand that. And I mean, I love Joss, but I totally didn't agree like with that at all. And there were some people on Instagram who really didn't, who felt the same way. So Spencer's Brit said, I usually love Jocelyn Sass, but she was way out of line and needs to back off. And then Lamont A said, who is she to know who belongs together? She's a kid and just had her first love. Also, just because two people love each other doesn't mean they should be together. Sometimes a love is meant for you to grow as a person and then move on. Kim and Julian are good for each other. So we got, like some pro Julian and Kim.
I do like okay, so I like Kim and Julian together. I've said this, a couple of times, and I
But
constantly
Kim doesn't.
well, Kim doesn't seem to realize that she's in a relationship with Julian, like this whole triangle thing that Julian knows and she doesn't know. And if we're going to like sort of there's multiple layers to this. So I'm going to start with the funniest part to me. So that beautifully awkward story of conception. And
Okay, so she was legitimately explaining to him how they made a baby. Do you see that
like,
look on
yeah, I
his
get it.
face?
I get
Do you see, like, I was cringing that whole scene, but did you see that look on his face, like, oh, it's okay, like, you can not do this? But that look of awkwardness on Drew, it's there every time she talks about her past feelings, future hopes. Every time she talks about that, he looks awkward and then sort of tells her, hey, we're good the way that we are, friends, buddies, and then she keeps doing it. But you know what? This girl's not wrong. It worked. She got a kiss out of it.
I was just gonna say that. So with that awkward look, with that story, I'm cringing. He gives the awkward look. And then I almost thought it was a dream sequence. When they kissed, I was like, wait, hold the phone. Like, what is going on? I feel like this came out of nowhere because he has like no emotion or the awkward look. And then they freaking kiss.
And then, like, when they go back to them, so they have the kiss, Julian sees, so he's rushing back to sleep with Alexis. And
Right.
then they show Drew and Kim together. And then they're just like standing apart talking about Oscar. And I'm like, what's happening? And then she was like, did nostalgia get the best of us? I'm like, he has no memory. And I'm like, what is what is going on here? And the fact that he didn't seem to have an opinion because she was sort of talking for both of them. So I felt like, oh, maybe Drew has got some interest here if you just sort of let him talk for a sec. But I literally don't know what Drew's thinking because he was there. He did kiss her.
Exactly. And the fact is, he kissed her. Like, I feel like it was more like him than her, even though she was telling the story. So let it be that it's them hanging out all the time and him getting to know her and him thinking about what their life could be like and the pressure of the situation. But I honestly think that he's gonna have a spark for her now. And it's gonna be a triangle that everybody's aware of now.
I don't know. Like, I would like to hope that the light bulb will go off for everyone, but I like really don't know. Like, I mean, Kim, I think after the kiss is maybe gonna slowly start to acknowledge that she has feelings for someone else because up until this point, I'm like, how can someone be this oblivious about how they feel? Like when you constantly have amnesia that you have a boyfriend and you can't remember him. Like, I just don't understand. And even when Julian came to see her, and then she tells everyone, like the audience, oh, Oscar is with Joss and they're sharing New Year's together. At that point, I'm like, then what are you doing? Like, your son has a date for New Year's. He's in the hospital, and that's so amazing. Like, Joss is bringing New Year's to him. He's having a great night. What are you staying there for? And the fact, I kind of was hoping, and I thought that maybe Drew would have said, hey, Julian, like, stopped him, take her. Like, just get her out of here. But he didn't. That's
I
why. I'm like, do
know
you like her? Do you not like her?
it's very hard to tell what he is feeling.
Yeah, I really don't know what Drew is feeling, but I have to say, like, it's almost like they fell into that kiss. Because I was like, is this for real? Because I don't know how many times Sam has like wiggled her body up until Jason's face and like they've never kissed up until today. So it's just like, I don't understand how. That's why I was so taken aback when you contrast it to being so close and not kissing. They were not close and kissed.
True, very valid point, which I think
My
is
jaw dropped when they kissed because I'm like, I didn't see that coming, even though they were standing nearby.
no, like because of his reaction, like a couple seconds prior, I'm like, how is this even happening? Like this makes no sense.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I think it'll be the start of some kind of a triangle, or at the very least a twosome, because I think Julian may just tap out after this.
Well, now I'm curious to see what's gonna happen with Alexis because she just like swooped in her super cute outfit when he was standing by the wall, kind of addressing Sam, and then she had that little interaction with him, and it just felt like I don't know if she was genuinely convincing him to go and see Kim or helping him just that he
Okay,
wanted to be with her.
so it wasn't just me because I'm like, because Julian was like, well, what are you saying? And even me too, I was like, what are you saying? Because she's all like questioning, like saying, well, Kim's doing this and Kim's making this choice and she wants to be with someone she cares about. And I'm like, is Kim with someone she cares about? I don't know. And so I was just like, I go, I don't know what Alexis is saying, but I don't believe she's helping Kim be with Julian. I don't.
No, I felt like in my brain that every word she was saying, she was stepping closer to him. That wasn't the reality, but that's like that how I pictured it in my head. And then when he walked away, the eyes, like her hungry eyes, are like intense.
And that's the thing, like that whole conversation with Julian, I literally had to rewind it like 2, 3 times, and my head was hurting. And I'm talking to Johnny, and I'm like, "There's so much double speak here. I don't know what she's freaking saying at this point." And did you notice this was really hilarious? Johnny pointed this out to me, and I had to rewind to like catch it. It's hilarious. Go back if you can. So in today's episode, you know, like when Julian comes back and he's all mad, and there was a lot of like handheld camera action going on today. So the camera is following Alexis from behind and Julian's coming. So like that's them crossing paths. But what was really hilarious is that if you notice, Michael is dancing with Christina and he literally grabs her out of the
I
way
did
so
see
that
that. I saw that.
so that Alexis could make her way through. And I was dying of laughter. I'm like, that was so funny. So you were talking about hungry eyes from Alexis. Honestly, Michael's hungry eyes. I was like, was this even possible? This guy was right up about to snatch Willow from Chase.
I was surprised. He's like, the party's not over. We still have an hour to go. And I was like, what?
When you say that and I think about who Michael's character is, like he's a little bit dorky, I just picture him kind of like dancing, two-stepping in front of her, being like, hey, you want to stay? I'm super cool. I brought my sister. Come and dance with me.
Oh my God, it's so funny. Well, you know what? Did we talk about the fact that it was finally revealed who his godson was to Willow?
Okay, that was amazing. And her face. And I was just like, well, there you go. Like Michael, all the points. Chase, zero. Well, he had 2 points. He got 2 dates. But like, I just feel like this is a huge reason for her to have to choose Michael over Chase.
I think so too. It was intense the fact that, he's heard her story that Christmas Eve they were together. And she knows that, he stayed because, like, Michael stayed with Willow because he wanted to be there for her. And then that whole conversation, and then she saw the footprint. Oh my God.
Something I didn't say though, like the first time, I think it was probably last week's episode when he did bump into her on Christmas Eve. She looked distraught though, like like she really did. Like she was playing the role really well. Like she did look distraught, and you can see why Michael would have gone to that meeting with her. And even in today's episode, she still looked kind of. She plays it really well. It's subtle, but it's there, and she does look quite shook and like she's dealing with something. But about the whole footprint and the gift, this is a very, very interesting theory. So on Twitter at Catherine W25, she said, I'm wondering if Michael's footprint gift is going to play a part in revealing the truth. And honestly, I have to say, hell yeah. I think so. I mean, the gift was highlighted. Like they made a point of highlighting the gift. Like when Lucas was giving it to
Mhm.
Michael, and then Michael is like showing this thing to Willow. So I have to think that that's a piece of the puzzle. We have Obrecht, we have the little footprint, we have a lot of little things coming out now.
I agree. And the Obrick Nell scene
Oh,
was
so good.
so good. Okay, so when I see Nell, it's always like goosebumps slash I'm so happy you're here. So I'm freaked
Yeah,
out because I know something crazy is gonna happen, but then I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be so cool.
it really is, and it's just sort of like it's just so interesting because like in the past we've talked about, hey, what would have happened if Christina was around when Nell was there, or this person, or Britt, even if when Nell was there, like who basically would out crazy who. But seeing Obrecht, she was so badass sitting across from
Mhm.
her. Like Nell's crazy was nothing and compared to what this woman is capable of. And to sit across from her and to be like, your move, like I'm just here. And the thing is, she just caved. Like that's the point. Like
I
Obrecht, all she
know.
did was point blank go, "Where's baby?" Like, okay, I'll tell you everything.
Like, how long did it take for Nell's storyline to come out that it was like a fake that she stole the blanket and all of a sudden like Obrick's in front of her and she gets like all the dirt?
Yeah, she got all the dirt, and I loved it. I loved it so much because not only do you see like how, first of all, Obrecht's an international criminal slash terrorist, and then when she leaves, that's the point though. Like she doesn't care about that baby. Obrecht is just there for that leverage for the moment that she needs it. And
Yes,
I love
absolutely.
that she made a point of highlighting that to Nell, like when she walked out of the door, being like, "Thanks for the info. You basically just gave me a lot of ammunition in case I need it." So it's like none of it was about Nell. None of it was about her story or the baby or Michael or Nell's plea to leave the baby where it was. None of that mattered. This woman doesn't care.
I know. I love
So I
it.
love that. So I really, really love that.
Badass, as you said. I agree.
Yeah. So I really never thought I'd come to this point and actually like Obrecht this much, but I'm very much entertained by her.
Me too. I want to see more. Like, I can't wait to see how her story is going to develop with all of this information that she has.
Yep. And so, okay, so something kind of fun. So Sam and Jason kissed each other at the start of the episode.
And
Like,
her dress, hello, there was no wiggling, there was no secrets. It was like, hello. And him in his suit, he looked so handsome and his
oh
black
my gosh.
coat.
He
Ugh,
looked so good, and it's just like they're so good together, like in the sense of like the scene, like the way that they look at each other, they really sell it. And I mean, it's been a long time coming. It's been annoying, up until this point. And so it was really nice to see these really satisfying scenes and moments where they weren't really playing games, like they were very much together. They didn't sleep together in this episode, but they were together, and I think they sold that.
oh yeah, like they very much looked like a couple. It was so very natural and it just kind of like worked the way it was supposed to. And I loved seeing it.
So like, is she superhuman or a robot? She like leans in, kisses him, and then goes, "I should power down." I'm like, what?
I know,
What is?
I laughed
I don't.
like
I'm like, what woman in their right mind is capable of saying that to Jason Morgan when you're in that moment?
I don't know. Well, we all know that she has the willpower of like, I don't know what, more willpower
A
than like
thousand women. Like, don't like I, like how she's capable of doing this. I have no idea.
uh,
Like how she pulled back. Oh wow, wow.
I know. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, damn girl, you go. I don't have that.
And for having like this whole like wait in between all of this, what I thought was amazing is Jason is so cool that when he kissed her at midnight, did you notice he like put his hand in his pocket?
No, I didn't. It's so cute.
I was just like, because we were looking at it, and Tony's like, did he just put his hand in his pocket? And I'm like, yeah, he's really cool.
I was waiting for the Joey move where you like put the hand in front of the face to cover the whole entire face.
No, he didn't. He let her have
I
her
know.
moment.
I know. I thought it, but I always kind of like that's always in the back of my head when I'm watching soaps.
So Jason had some. Okay, not only does he talk a lot more now, but he's getting some really interesting storylines, and a few of them are bringing him toward Drew.
Yes.
Like he's been protective of Drew, especially around the USB, and now this Hank guy.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, like, Drew is lucky I'm not his brother because I'm not as good as Jason, because if Hank approached me, I'd have been like, "Oh my god, I'll take you to Drew. He was married, his ex-wife is Sam, he has a daughter, his son is Oscar, his baby mama is Kim." Like, I would have just said all of this information. So happy to know somebody from his past. Meanwhile, Jason's like, "No, this guy's no good." I'm like, "Oh wow, you're so good."
Well, Hank was just so eager and revealed so much right off the bat to this total and complete stranger that yeah, it was weird, but I couldn't like really read Jason right off the bat. So when
No, me
they go to
neither.
the yeah, I was like, has this dry spell made you a little bit foggy? Is it messing with your instincts? But then when he like said, okay, no, you give me your information and that, Jason will bring it to Drew. I'm like, okay, okay, we're good, we're good.
No, like the whole time he seemed to be sizing the guy up. The part that I thought was kind of like was because when they first meet, it's that soap opera thing where they just stare at each other and don't say anything for a while, and then they go to commercial. But the thing
Yeah.
is, it was really long. So the guy was introducing himself and kept kind of assuming that he was Drew, and then Jason kept staring at, saying anything. I was like, "Hello, are you
Is
are
this
you there?"
on?
But I love that when he was done with Hank, who pretended that he didn't know how to play pool, and Jason makes that phone call to Sam. I loved it because on Thursday's episode, there weren't any Sam and Jason scenes, but I like that they sort of teased the audience when he calls Sam and said, "I'll be a little late" or a change of plans. I thought that was like super, super cute. So after he warns Drew, they cut back to Hank, and basically he's clearly a pool shark. So I don't know, like, is Hank even from his past at all? If he is, like, is it really about the army? Is it something personal? Okay, so one person speculated this. So Dimitra Zaneteko says it could be possible that Hank and Kim hooked up and he is the father of Oscar. I really hope that's not the case. I
That
like
would be
this. I like this mess because he doesn't look like he's nice. like,
well, I
like,
didn't say.
like to be Oscar's father. But after I saw this comment and then today's episode came on, I was just so intrigued to see what Kim's reaction to the name Hank would have been.
Hmm.
But she didn't seem to recognize the name. But then again, Jason pointed out that the guy had said he knows me as Hank. So obviously that we don't know
Oh,
what his real name is or what his real identity is. And then Mish Fisher 12 said it would be awesome to see Jason and Drew team up and have a good relationship. And I
I
mean,
agree.
yeah, I think I really do think that that's starting to happen because they're kind of, we said it last week too. Drew's coming into his own life. He has his own life, and both they're kind of settling in to life after all of the news broke and came out in the divorce. So I mean, Sam's settling in with Jason, and maybe Drew will really settle in with Kim because honestly, after what Julian saw, she doesn't have any other options.
I know. And I'm pretty sure she's okay with this option.
Yeah, but Drew needs to like get it together though. Like he needs to be a little bit more enthusiastic about that possibility.
He needs to be clear about his intentions. Come on now.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, so I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Do you have any ideas of what Hank is? Like, do you actually think he's from his past?
Even if he is from his past, he seems to be a very sketchy guy. So I feel like maybe there's blackmail intentions. Maybe he's holding a piece of information that Drew had wanted. But with the whole memory thing, it's hard to kind of come to grips to see, okay, is it like a Kim affected story or is it really a Drew story?
That's really good because I was wondering, like, will this storyline be the thing that brings him closer to Kim? Because
Oh,
honestly, I would love it if this guy was really from his past, even if he's lying about how he knows Drew. Because I've been really waiting for some of Drew's past to creep into Port Charles. Because honestly, I'm sure it's really interesting. We know nothing about Drew, so I'm excited for this. So I really, really hope that this guy is actually from Drew's past, and I'm looking forward to see. Like you said, does this touch on Kim in any way? And I know this sounds strange, but because like they're throwing this new storyline at Drew, I kind of find it hard to believe that this guy would have to deal with 20 things at once. So part of me feels like the introduction to this storyline might mean a close to Oscar being sick.
oh, that's a very good point. I like that. Let's stick with that.
Yeah. And so, okay, our cutest newlyweds or new couple. So Curtis and Jordan.
Oh my gosh, they're adorable. I loved her wrap dress. It was gorgeous. What did you think about Curtis and his reaction to when he went to go meet the producer?
Like, not another murder. I, I think he felt inconvenienced, but
I loved it. It was such a non-reaction, but yet a
but it's
reaction of
Curtis.
disgust.
But it's Curtis, and I think it's a reflection of his kind of cool, suave, and also intelligence. I hate to put it that way, but the thing is, the moment Curtis was involved, I kind of trusted things would go okay. Like I kind of figured, hey, if Curtis is part of the discovery of this new body and gets to be more involved, like we may actually get somewhere.
I 100% agree. I have to admit, though, their interaction made me a little bit nervous with him and his wife because there was a lot of speak between about the years to come and kissing you every year. And every time they start talking about a lot of future stuff,
Oh,
that's
I
when
thought
people
he was gonna. No, I honestly was super scared. And even Johnny asked, like, do you think like Curtis is gonna be next? I was like, honestly, no. From his interview on the Stone Cold and the Jackal podcast and the way he was talking, I do think Curtis is gonna be around for a while. So obviously he will be because he didn't die in this at all. I think if anything, Ryan was gonna try to frame Curtis. Like that was my concern when he was stepping into that room, that he would be framed for this. But I was like, this is not really a concern because he was with Jordan. She saw that he got the text message. He didn't send the text messages to himself. And so, and they already know that the murderer tends to kind of frame other people. So once I saw that he walked in and found the dead body, I wasn't as concerned about Curtis dying, because I was originally, like when he was leaving Jordan and said, I'll meet you at midnight, me and Jordan at the same time said, you better.
Oh my God. Okay, well, the thing is, okay, so does this mean that Ryan's getting sloppy? Because this was a last minute decision in comparison to the other ones that he's taken a hair of more time to think about as to who he's going to frame and how he's going
Yeah.
to place things out. Is there like, his lapse where he doesn't know who Curtis is or who Curtis is associated to? So he just kind of like went on the fly and said, hey, this guy's supposed to meet him. Let's have him find the scene.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's what happened. I think he was surprised to find out. Like I like his reaction to the guy's cell phone when he saw that there was like a last message and that he had an upcoming appointment. I think that kind of threw a wrench in whatever he was going to do. But I mean, like, come on, when the documentary doesn't come out, like somebody would have figured out the guy was dead. Like I'm just
I
saying, and even though like this was maybe a last minute murder for Ryan, I think for me anyways, I was like, if he doesn't like the screening, he's gonna kill you.
I know. Either way, that guy wasn't coming out alive. Let's just put it that way.
No, not at all. On a lighter note, I just want to go back to the New Year's party because I thought this was kind of hilarious. So, I mean, I just want to talk a bit about Christina. Like, they tend to
Okay,
bring
I'm
her
glad
back.
because this is on my list. Let's see if you're going to go in the direction I think you will. Go.
Okay, so first of all, I'm happy Christina's out in public and participating in life. Like honestly,
Yes.
like they bring this girl back, and then sometimes I feel like they isolate her in these really specific storylines. But all I want is for Christina to kind of mingle. She has like a bajillion siblings, family, all these people, and she's often kind of like isolated when she's on the show. So one, I was super happy to see her at the party.
Yeah.
I know she has all this stuff going on with Valerie, but Valerie is confused. So we don't know
Mm,
like what's going to happen there, because it's not just a love interest. There's a friendship at stake. There's a potential love interest. There's just a lot of baggage at this point in time. Plus she's avoiding Christina. But when
yes.
her and Michael saw Chase and Willow, I was like, is
Yes.
there going to be a switcheroo here? Because I could see Chase being temporary until things with Val settle.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was thinking. The interaction between Chase and Christina was adorable. She's like, "Tell me about Thor." Like the camera wasn't even on her, but you
I
still just
know.
asked the question, and I absolutely love that. And I think that that would be a super cute, even if it's a short period of time. Maybe Chase is that transition guy that girls get to date him and then move on to the bigger and better.
Well, unfortunately, like they are like, it's kind of like with Michael and Willow. They're pointing to the fact that stuff is a bit heavier and deeper between the two, and then you have like Chase, who's new and just sort of being like, "Hey, I want to get to know you." And Christina, she too is coming with baggage. Now all of a sudden, this longtime friend could potentially be a romantic interest for her. That's heavy. So yeah, it's really sad to say, but Chase may be that guy that just helps you buy time until you get to this other person. I mean, it sucks, but all I want is for Christina to just stay. I want her to stay. I want her to mingle. I want to see her more. Like that's what I want. I want for once for her story to really, for her to like stick.
I agree. I'm so down for that. I want to see her interacting with people and not just her like super friendly culty people that she's like with characters. So if there's
Right.
anything that happens with Chase and Christina, I am so all for it.
And there was something funny that I thought. So like when they see Val, and so Michael says hi and he's with Christina, and then she walks away and it's all awkward because she says no to like hang out with them. And Michael goes to Christina, "Hey, I thought you guys were friends." And I felt like, wait a Michael, I thought you guys were family. Like, what are you talking about? Like you're kind of a Spencer too. So I thought that was just really,
Right.
yeah, I thought that was really funny. Like she's your relative.
That's pretty funny.
So on that note, I think that's it.
All right. Well, it's been a great week, even though there's only 3 episodes, and I can't wait
That
to
was
see.
really good. It was really good. There was a lot packed into even just today's episode. So
Woo-hoo.
have a good week. And I think it's the same thing next week where there's going to probably be just 3 episodes. So to everybody listening, Happy New Year. It's not
Yeah.
a you know what? It's not a
That
question.
was a question.
I'll be excited about this. Happy New Year to everybody. And more than that, I think me and Mel want to just sort of thank you for listening. This was just sort of like a very spontaneous idea of starting this podcast. So thank you everyone to listening. And we're really excited for a new year of more podcasts and more GH.
I agree. And as usual, Mish is always up in my head and gets to say the things before sometimes I get
Sorry.
so ditto. I agree. Thank you. We're so incredibly grateful. Happy New Year, everyone. Listen out for us every week. Bye.